East Alabama is under an excessive heat advisory for the rest of this week, and we're going to tell you some things you can do to stay safe.
The heat just keeps on coming to East Alabama, but we may have a little bit of relief in sight. We'll have the complete forecast details coming up.
We are one day away from the high school football season. We'll talk about it coming up in sports. EAN Local News starts now.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by WM Grocery, located in Heflin, Wadowee, Roanoke, and in Piedmont.
Good evening, and thank you for watching East Alabama Now Local News for Wednesday, August 23rd, 2023. I'm Katie Edwards.
And I'm Mike Stedham.
The National Weather Service is warning Alabamians to be especially careful for the next several days as seriously hot and dry conditions continue. The forecast is calling for hot and dry weather through the weekend, so make sure to keep those water bottles handy and stay hydrated. Dr. Rodney Sneed of the CARES clinics in Anniston and Oxford says there are a variety of heat-related illnesses, including heat cramps, heat exhaustion, and heat stroke.
Prevention is aimed at preventing dehydration, and doing that by starting hydration before activities with a mixture of fluid and electrolyte drinks and water, keeping your urine pale yellow, and monitoring your daily weights. A loss of more than a loss of more than a pound a day or 4 pounds in a week is usually fluid loss, and more than 4 pounds in a week should trigger a dehydration protocol where one rests out of the heat and heat stress environments and does not resume those activities until they have regained their baseline weight.
With football season getting underway, Sneed says it's very important that parents keep a close eye on their student athletes to make sure they are not showing any signs of these heat-related problems. If these warning signs are ignored, people can suffer from the most serious consequence of the hot weather, heat stroke.
Heat stroke is a 911 medical emergency where seconds count. Is characterized by loss of consciousness or alterations of consciousness or irritability, along with associated loss of sweating. The brain is the body's thermostat, and when the brain quits working properly, heat strokes can occur. If the patient is unconscious, then do the ABCs of CPR. If they're conscious, get them into a cool environment, get all their external clothing off, and cool them with as much cool water as you can while awaiting EMS.
Sneed says that while heat-related illnesses can affect anybody, some groups are especially at risk. These include children under 2 years of age, pregnant women, senior citizens, and those who take certain medications. Health officials recommend checking on family members, neighbors, and animals who might become neglected during the heat wave.
When we come back, we'll tell you about some places that you can go to beat the heat over the next few days.
Since 1993, WM Grocery has been a major part of our local community. WM offers the very best in fresh produce and an outstanding meat department. WM also has many local products not found anywhere else and fresh sushi every day. If you need an event catered, come see Mrs. K at any WM store. Curbside pickup is also available for your online grocery orders. Be sure to download the WM app for all the deals of the week and shopper rewards. Go check them out today at any of their locations.
We take pride in our community and appreciate your business.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Waldrop Manufacturing, metal buildings made right here in Calhoun County.
The city of Anniston is taking special precautions to help the homeless and those without air conditioning in their homes during these extremely hot days. On Thursday, people may seek shelter at the Right Place, 105 West 15th Street, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The United Way's cooling station at the bridge behind Anniston's First United Methodist Church at 1400 Noble Street will be open Friday through Sunday from 9 a.m. until 5 p.m. each day. The cooling location at the bridge has been made possible by United Way of East Central Alabama in partnership with Anniston's First United Methodist Church and His Hands and Feet Ministries of Calhoun County. When we come back, we'll tell you about the latest work project being organized by the Anniston Changers for this weekend.
Well, my name's Mike Craven, and we recently purchased an open carport, metal carport from a Waldrop manufacturer. I have an extra car. We have a very small home, very small driveway, and I needed somewhere just to park another vehicle, just out of the weather. And I had been told by 2 or 3 friends that knew we had recently remodeled a home that Waldrops were the people that you need to go talk to. I was in that area one day and I thought, hey, I'll just stop in, and I did without calling, and greeted warmly, well taken care of. It was just, really the whole process was just good from day one.
This segment of EAN Local News is brought to you by Oxford Lumber. Come visit any of our locations in Oxford, Jacksonville, Talladega, and Roanoke.
The Anniston Changers will be back for another service project on Saturday morning, and this time they'll be cleaning up the neighborhoods around MacArthur Drive in North Anniston. Work begins at 8 a.m. and ends at 11 a.m. Volunteers will meet in the parking lot of Smith's Appliance, located at the intersection of East 26th Street and Noble Street. This project will focus mainly on mowing properties and litter pickup, so workers are asked to bring lawnmowers, landscaping tools, and gloves. There will be some other tasks as well, and any help is welcome. Refreshments and fellowship will be provided to every person who volunteers. Workers may register to volunteer at AnnistonChangers.com or call Jackson Hodges at 256-846-2044.
Well, Katie, we've been talking a lot about the heat during
have.
this evening's newscast. This is serious stuff.
It is.
How much longer?
Well, that is a question I don't have the answer to, but I bet we know someone who does.
Maybe John Holder?
Maybe so. John joins us now in the EAN Weather Center. John, tell us about the weather.
Mike and Katie, this is a big question. How long is this going to last? At least for several more days across East Alabama. But we could have a little bit of relief coming in just a few days. We'll talk about the complete forecast for all of East Alabama next.
For over 60 years, Oxford Lumber has been servicing our area, and our customer service has always been our main focus. Our customer service is what sets us apart from anyone else. From the moment you enter, our highly trained staff will treat you like family.
To enthusiastically provide total customer satisfaction within a positive and self-fulfilling employee relations environment. Visit us at any of our 4 locations or at oxfordlumber.com.
Hot temperatures, sunshine, dry weather. That's the story once again all across East Alabama on your Wednesday. 97 for the high today, way above average. Our average high temperature actually went down a degree. We're in the upper 80s for the average high, 72 for the low this morning. The true heat wave that we had back in 2007, that was when our record high was set once again at 103, the record low 53, and we shaved about 3 or 4 minutes off of our sunrise and sunset times just in the last day or so. 6:12 your sunrise tomorrow morning, and our sun setting tonight at 7:20. Weather on your street across East Alabama. First, we're going to take you to 7 Springs Road out in Crystal Springs in northern Calhoun County. Very warm and clear skies tonight. The low temperature at 72, but keep in mind that is not until early tomorrow morning. For most of the evening hours, temperatures are going to stay well into the 80s all across East Alabama, including out in Crystal Springs. On your Thursday, more of the same, folks. More heat, more sun. Sun Valley Drive out in White Plains. Total sunshine tomorrow, 96 for the high tomorrow afternoon. There is a small chance tomorrow that we might see 1 or 2 pop-up showers. We're not going to put that in the forecast because 90 to 95% of folks are not going to see anything tomorrow afternoon. 96 for the high, heat index values around 105 tomorrow afternoon out in White Plains. And for the start of the weekend as we get into Friday and also the start of football season, sunny, hot and dry, Peaceful Valley Road out in Bynum. It'll be peaceful, no weather really to talk about, just plenty of sunshine and heat. Temperatures are going to remain in the upper 90s for the next several days. But as we look at the 7-day forecast, you're going to see, again, Temperatures are going to be in the upper 80s. Maybe the hottest day so far coming up will be actually on Saturday, so more of the same on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But some changes coming. Sunday afternoon, a 20% chance of a shower, the high at 95 degrees, and some real change coming the early part of next week. By Monday, we're going to be talking about a 30% chance of a shower and high temperatures back down into the lower 90s, maybe some upper 80s in about a week by Wednesday of next week, with rain chances going from 20% to 30% to maybe even 40% on Tuesday. So we have some relief in sight. It's just going to take us several days to get there. Talking about this heat over the next 3 or 4 days, heat safety, these are common sense items for the most part because heat-related deaths are totally 100% preventable. But you got to do some things. You're working outside, stay hydrated, take breaks as often as possible. If you're indoors, a lot of folks want to turn the air conditioning off or down, and that's a bad idea to do. So check on folks who might be without air conditioning and maybe turning that air conditioning down to make sure that they are going to be staying cool indoors even. Vehicles, never leave your kids or pets unattended. That is something where you just look in the back seat. Just make sure when you get out of your car, look in the back seat, make sure that no one or no pets there. And then, of course, outside, you want to limit those strenuous outdoor activities to the early morning, late afternoon hours, finding shade, staying hydrated, just common sense over the next 3 or 4 days until we can kind of break this heat wave. Well, the heat wave is affecting high school football. Chase Robinson going to tell us about some changes to the high school schedule as far as kickoff times because of the heat. Chase?
Thanks, John. We are 1 day away from the high school football season beginning across the state of Alabama. And because of the heat, some games are being pushed back. Let's take a look here. The kickoff games in Montgomery have been pushed back to 8 o'clock. We've got the Etowah at Springville game tomorrow night has also been pushed to 8 o'clock. On Friday night, the White Plains at Ranburne game will now kick off at 8 p.m. Also on Friday, Southside at Guntersville has pushed back 30 minutes to 7:30. We'll keep you updated on any other games that change times. With the season beginning tomorrow, tonight is our last team preview, and we'll preview the Gadsden City Titans. Ali Smith and the Gadsden City Titans get ready for their second season playing in Class 6A. The Titans finished 7-5 last season and were region champs for 6A Region 8. Coach Smith talks about as they get ready for a new season, he's finding a way to get the best 11 guys on the field.
Obviously we're not in college, so we don't get a chance to red shirt one or do this or do that. We're in high school, so what we figure out is, hey, let's find our best 11 guys and get them on the field. So, these two both are one of our best 11 guys, and so they'll be on the football field. We'll get creative to make sure that we get our best guys on the field.
Ali Smith is heading into year 5 as the head coach of the Titans and served as assistant before that. Coach Smith looks back at his time at Gadsden City and how much things have changed for the better.
Back and when I look at things that I do or don't have to do as a head coach now, and then I understand when I walk in the weight room or go out for conditioning or when we line up for just specialty or anything like that, our kids understand the process of the hard work. They understand if I don't have to look for them at 5:30, 5:40 in the mornings when they're supposed to be there, or if we change the practice in the evening, the communication there, they understand and holding each other accountable. They still boys, and they still kids, but they understand the process and the hard work and the competitive nature. A couple years ago, we would go out and we go to 7-on-7s, OTAs. When we first started that, we kind of knew we was going to take our lumps. And so right now, we feel good about going out and competing.
Gadsden City will open up the season this Friday night as they take on Carver Montgomery at Titan Stadium. We're just a few days away from Jack State kicking off the 2023 season as UTEP comes to Jacksonville. With the move up to FBS for the Gamecocks, they automatically get a tougher schedule. Usually you use your first game of the season as a measuring stick for the year, but as Rich Rod said, with the tough schedule and the amount of teams that made a bowl game last year, they have several measuring sticks.
The first game's a good measuring stick, but it's not the only measuring stick. We have a lot of games, a lot of challenging games. I don't know what was 7 or 8 bowl games on the schedule, so there's going to be a lot of measuring sticks, so to speak. But the first one for us is always a big one every year, just because, like I said earlier, you're not really sure where you're at until you play somebody. And UTEP And I told our guys, and our coaches know this, they're one of the best teams in Conference USA. They had the #1 defense in the league last year and got most of those guys back. They've got a lot of veteran players, probably the most veteran team in our league, and so they were picked as one of them to win it, and we were picked way down the bottom, and I certainly understand that.
And that's it for sports. Let's go back over to Mike and Katie.
Thank you for watching East Alabama Now Local News.
You can find us here online every weekday evening on either Facebook or YouTube. Just go to our video feed and watch the news whenever it's convenient for you.
We'll see you back here Thursday for your news on your schedule.